All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is figurative language, and I just want to point this out to you that on page 16 and 17 in your notebook, so go ahead and turn to those 2 pages, page 16 and 17 in your notebook. So on these 2 pages are all the different types of figurative language. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going over this, but I'm just going to kind of talk through what this says. So figurative language, right, it says right up here, figurative language is used by writers to add unique description, tone, pattern, or flair to their pieces. Here are some examples of figurative language. So figurative language, I'm going to zoom in on this really quickly so you can see this, but figurative is using the words given to describe a situation creatively. The words are meant in a different way than stated, okay? Whereas a literal meaning is you're doing exactly what the words say. So these are not going to be literal. This is all figurative language. So there are multiple different types of figurative language. I'm going to briefly go over them. This is really just for me to show you that this is in your notebook so it can help you out. I will reference back to it later. All right, so the first one we have is onomatopoeia. These are sound words that they actually sound, like when you say it, it sounds like how they actually sound. Okay, so boom, ding dong, like when the doorbell, like when you scream, crash, like when you hear something crash, it kind of has that sound with it. All right, so onomatopoeia, again, this is just sound words. Okay, personification is when you give human characteristics to a non-human or a non-living thing. So looking at some of these examples down here, it says the tree waved in the breeze. So that's a figurative way of saying that the tree is like swaying in the breeze because of the wind. So it waved in the breeze there, not actually waving, but it's just a figurative language. Okay, another one that says the house stared down at us. So when I think of that, like a house can't really stare, but when I think about that, I'm thinking this house has to be very tall for it to stare down at someone. Okay, my pencil danced across the page. Well, to me, like what that's trying to say is that the pencil is like you're writing a lot, because when you write, your pencil kind of moves around. Okay. Alliteration. Alliteration is repeated sounds at the beginning of the words. If there's only 2 words, that could be alliteration. So looking at these examples, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Kind of tongue twisters, which is kind of hard to say. But so yeah, it has the so like Peter Piper, so P, and then all that kind of stuff. The next one, it says, my mom made chocolate muffins. Again, my mom made and muffins. So it has the beginning sound is the same. All right, allusion. Allusion is like when you reference a book or a movie, a well-known book or movie, to kind of help something else. So it says, may the force be with you. A lot of people say that. So they're referencing back to Star Wars, but it's not actually having to do with Star Wars at that time. The team was a Cinderella story. So you're referencing back to the movie of Cinderella, and how this Cinderella was a person who was a maid kind of person, to clean and cook and all that kind of stuff. But then she came out on top of everything. So it's kind of like the underdog story. Luke, I am your father. That boy was a Romeo. Just kind of when you say it, you're alluding to something else. You're not necessarily talking about that specific movie or show or book. The next one we have is hyperbole. You are exaggerating something to an extreme. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. You're exaggerating it. The girl wore a ton of makeup. So again, you're exaggerating because a ton is 2,000 pounds. I really doubt that there's any person who can wear 2,000 pounds of makeup. It's a lot of makeup. Okay. Anyway, so exaggerations. All right, now on page 17, there are 3 more that I'm going to talk about. Idiom. Idiom is a figure of speech. It's well-known phrases we don't take literally. Sometimes usually a historical explanation. So it says, think, am I literally going to do this or am I showing something else? Okay, so some of these you may have heard. A lot of adults use idioms because it's a figure of speech to say something, and sometimes you may not understand, but it's a type of idiom. And as you get older, you're going to start hearing more and you're going to start using them and you'll understand them better. So it's raining cats and dogs. I'm not literally saying that when you go outside, there are cats and dogs falling from the sky. That would be really scary. But this means that it's raining a lot. Okay. Let's see. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm sure that you guys have heard that one before. Don't cry over spilled milk. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. I use this one a lot in the sense of there's not a good option for you to choose. So if you choose this way, you're still going to have this. If you choose this way, you're still going to have whatever. So you're kind of stuck. You have to make a decision. There's not one that's like an awesome, great decision, but that kind of thing. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is kind of, so I'm not literally like holding eggs and putting them into a basket. This is when you have a goal in mind. So I'm going to give you my example that just kind of popped up in my head is like when I graduated from high school or getting ready to graduate from high school, I had to choose where I wanted to go to school for college. And so there were multiple places that I sent my application to join that college to see if they would accept me. I didn't want to just say, no, I wanted to go here. So I'm going to just do everything here, because what would have happened if I would have got to that college? If I were to say, nope, this is the only one I'm going to do, and if I don't get accepted, I'm out of luck. I'm not going to go to college. So what I did, instead of putting all my eggs in one basket, that one college, I sent my application to multiple colleges, and then from that, I was able to see who accepted me for their courses. All right, the next one, you have simile. This is where you're comparing two ideas. You're using the word like or as. So we have different examples down here. Her hair was as golden as the sun. So you're comparing her hair to the sun by using the word like or as. The sound was like nails on a chalkboard. Ooh, that makes me, I don't like that sound. But you're using the word like, so you are comparing the sound to nails on a chalkboard. Okay, so there's other ones that you can see on there. The other one that is also comparing two ideas is metaphor, except for you're not saying like or as. This is where you're comparing something and just saying it. So down here it says the room is a pigsty. So it's not actually a pigsty. So it's not like muddy and that kind of stuff. But when someone says the room is a pigsty, what they're trying to tell us is that the room's a mess, like a really big mess. The day was an amusement park of activity. So it was busy and maybe fun day. Okay. So you're comparing things, but you're not using like or as. All right. So I really just wanted to bring this attention to you that on page 16 and 17, there are 8 different figurative languages that we kind of talked about today. But again, figurative language is you're not doing exactly what it's saying. It's just a way, I'm going to use these words up here again. Using the words given to describe a situation creatively, the words are meant in a different way than stated. Okay? So we will reference back to page 16 and 17, but I wanted to at least go over them with you and to share those. All right, awesome.